Why do most businesses fail within the first 2 years? I would probably say because of numbers and cash flow. I think often people can get too excited about an idea or product that they don't actually think through the numbers and profitability.
AI is changing the business landscape rapidly. Platforms are adopting AI, advertisers are adopting AI, and businesses are adopting AI. I think because of all that, there's a higher demand on true creativity.
If you're in your 20s and your friends are talking to you about work-life balance, get new friends. If you spend too much time sharing the vision and not actually writing out the practical steps of how to execute it, it becomes a mere fantasy.
What's one mental shift that changed your business forever?
At the end of the day, business is this one thing.
Do you think you really need to hustle 24/7 to see success?
No, you definitely need to rest, because if you don't rest, then you can't recover properly to execute properly. But I think the misconception is the fact that people sit around and work 2 hours a day and thinking they're going to be the next Alex Hormozi. Like, he's putting a 16-hour day, a 20-hour day. So you need to 100% work. But I think a hustle culture, it's like work, don't rest. And maybe when you're young, you don't notice that, but then it catches up to you in your later on in life, you know?
Yeah, I'm definitely realizing that now. And I'm even thinking, like, sometimes if I'm well rested, I'm healthy, I've eaten well, like 4 hours of a well-rested day worth of work, I'm more productive than like 8 hours or 10 hours of a bad day.
But what I've noticed is that those 4 hours can add up, and then you have the day where you crash. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that's where I like to take the Saturday. I love taking a Saturday completely off and just putting no alarm on and sleeping in.
Yeah, burnout is definitely real.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to structure. Maybe some people have different tolerances. Maybe some people burn out once a week, depending on, maybe some people once every 6 months or several years. But I think you definitely need to structure sort of your work around consistency and being able to maintain it long term.
I think the biggest thing for productivity is studying and learning yourself.
Yeah.
Because somebody thinks, oh, I need 8 hours. Reality, they function really well at 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have moments where I'm like, hey, throughout the week, like, I begin to navigate and feel out how many hours I need. I know I function well on a 7.5. Can I go a couple days with 6? Yeah. But then there's going to be a day where I'm going to miss my alarm because my body's like, hey, I need rest. And so I think that's where I've learned where, you know, I love on a Saturday, no alarm. It's my rest day. Don't touch me. No business, no ministry. And then your body naturally wakes up when it's well rested, you know?
And the reality is, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're building something, you're going to have pressures on you. You're going to be balancing risks. You may not get the perfect working scenario that you want.
I think that's the biggest misconception for entrepreneurs and schedule and just business owners in general. Because we like to systemize things, we think that we can systemize our schedule on a daily basis. And to an extent you can, but we want it to be perfect. And I think because we're so big on systems and what's the standard operating procedure, we want to almost systemize our life. And the reality is life, and sometimes it'll throw something at you. And I think that's where you need to just give yourself grace and just let it go and not be hard on yourself, because there's days where the reality is your body's exhausted and you need to sleep in, and that's okay.
And things happen as well.
Yeah.
Meetings are canceled, moved around, something's thrown onto your plate, something blows up even. You got to quickly manage that crisis. So really you can set sort of a framework, like a guardrail of what you're trying to accomplish that day. But if you're not working a 9 to 5, if you're really building something from the ground up, your days can be so variable.
Yeah.
Like, for example, yesterday, I spent more than half the day buying supplies for the office.
Yeah.
And I expected that to take like 2 hours out of my day. But I realized, like, hey, maybe the mental, intellectual, like computer work I wanted to get done that day, you kind of have to throw that out of the window, because driving around town, shopping, picking up desks, chairs, monitors, that also takes time, and someone's got to do it, you know? So I think business owners and entrepreneurs have a wider range of tasks that they have at hand, and they're covering a bunch of different positions. If you were to work at a job, something more, like, you know, you're paid on salary and you clock in at this time, clock out on this, and you're very specialized in one thing. We too are specialized, but there are times, especially when you're first starting out, where you got to handle a bunch of different positions.
Yeah, I still remember there was a moment where something happened with the website and I had to fix it, and it's already like late at night, and I have no choice. Like if I don't fix this, it could be detrimental to SEO.
Yeah.
And I'm staying up all night fixing at 5, 6 a.m. because nobody else will. And there's no other choice, you know? Like put that into a sleep schedule, put that into your weekly schedule. What does that look like, you know? And so I begin to realize the balance is to be productive and flexible at the same time. I think there's a lot of people that are busy and like, oh, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. But I think having the correct priorities, non-negotiables, and being available and flexible, I think that is gold. Being productive and yet very available at the same time, even though you have so much on your plate.
Yeah, I've started to see productivity in a different way recently. I think I value measuring productivity in tasks completed or projects done rather than how many hours you spent
Yeah, being
on the
busy.
project. Yeah, it's so simple to sit down at your computer or get together in a meeting and discuss something, and then you can eternally discuss it and think about it and research it. But honestly, nothing replaces doing the work.
Yeah. Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you have to execute, you know? But I do hate the word busyness. It bothers me more and more because I'm like, hey, the goal is not to be busy. The goal is to be productive. Like think about it. Elon Musk, probably one of the most productive men right now on the earth.
Yeah.
And the reality is he has the most on his plate, and yet he's really, really productive. But the reality is the way that he's structured his life, and that's the goal, is to actually have measurable results and execute. And just because you put in 12 hours doesn't mean you were productive. Somebody else with their 3 hours, like a Donald Trump,
For sure.
could be way more productive, sign a little executive order here and there.
What do you think is the hardest part about running a business that no one talks about? Where do I start? huh?
Yeah, is it the 9 to 9? Is it the pressure? Is it a balance between vision? I think probably the hardest part at some point is fear.
Mm.
I think a lot of people they like the 9 to 5 because of security. And I think anytime you're a business owner or entrepreneur, you're actually creating security for others.
Wow.
To create security for others, you need to be insecure in the beginning.
Mm.
To create security for someone to have a 9 to 5 in your business, in the beginning, there's a little bit of fear, like, is this gonna actually work? And so I think it's a mix of that. It's a mix of pressure where there's things that only you can do and nobody else can do them. And learning to delegate, have the vision aspect, having the vision and being motivated, but at the same time doing sales, at the same time doing marketing, at the same time executing, at the same time delegating, and with all of that saying, is it gonna work? and, and then seeing success, but then always there's some moments of like this in between where you're like, man, the business has 4x'd with where I was at before, and yet right now I'm still like, will this work? Will that work? Will it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so I think it's a mix of all of that put together, you know, it can be a little bit all over the place, but I think that's where you need to have your non-negotiables and just stay grounded, and keep your eyes on the prize, and do whatever keeps you grounded, and have your non-negotiables in place.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more pressure than say a 9 to 5. It would be.
Because at 5 p.m. you turn off your brain.
Sure.
Here at midnight, I'm thinking about how to get that guy from position 3 to position 1 on Google, you know?
And then you have several layers of security in a larger company if you're just an employee.
Yeah.
Right? You've got managers. Those managers have supervisors over them. They have executive board over them. And your only responsibility is the one task that you do.
Yeah.
And you have a specific set of deliverables that you
Yeah.
need to work on and deliver when you're clocked in. And past that, no issues. You know, if you're a business owner, the entire outcome of a business or the outcome of a family or the people around you are all determined by you.
Yeah. Like the people that you're paying.
Yeah.
The people that are on a salary, the people that are working for the business, you're like, well, I'm paying them because X this client. Okay, these are contractual, these are not. Like, what does that look like? You know what I mean? Like the what ifs.
Plus, you control the life force of the company, right? You're in charge of making sure that the company has cash flow,
Yeah.
making sure that people are paid, making sure that
Bro, it's like
Did it-
learning payroll, learning taxes, learning cash flow, then realizing that at the end of the year there's a tax that is pulled out, having that on the side, and doing all of that at once. It's I think wearing all the hats at once and somehow not dying.
Not only are you wearing all the hats, you have to create the hats too.
Yeah.
When you come into an established company as an employee, there are standard operating procedures, there are trainings. They know what you need to be doing, and they train you in order to do those things. You're a business owner, you're building something, you have an idea of what you need to do. You don't have an example
Yeah.
of how to do it. You got to figure that out yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have higher ups or people more experienced than you, like seniors teaching juniors how to do that. So I think that's another added pressure that people don't realize. It's a lot of finding things out for yourself.
Yeah. I think if you could summarize the hardest part about business no one talks about is pressure.
Yeah.
That would be the word. Because you have all of these different hats: vision, sales, marketing, standard operating of procedure, the CRM, client relationship, you name it, like every detail. And all of that pressure at once. And you always are trying to balance. Okay, I focus on the quality of the product. Well, now I need to market the product. Okay, I've marketed the product. I need to go back to focusing on the quality of the product. And you're always in this tension. Oh, I got to grow this part. I got to do this. I got to invest this. Anyways, it's like learning all of the above, you know?
And oftentimes you are bearing the most pressure, and you're the only piece that cannot crack under pressure.
Yeah.
You're holding everything together, and you're
And
the
you hop on that Zoom call. Hey guys, how you guys doing? How was your weekend? How you doing? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing phenomenal.
yeah.
And then somebody sees you walking to the bathroom between the office, like, bro, are you good? Like, they're like looking at your face, like, hey, you should smile more. I'm like, bro, like, I'm in my work area. What do you mean smile more? I'm not right now at home. When I come
Yeah.
home, I'll pivot gears, you know. But you're walking, you get a text message, and that's the other thing. It's like you'll be on a Saturday, you're out with your friends, and a client texts you. And then it's like, before it used to bother me, there's like this fear, like, oh, what did they write? Or you're checking it. And then you have to learn to also disconnect, I think.
For sure.
Disconnect and be able to be present. Because if not, you'd be go a little crazy.
Yeah, a lesson I learned with the paid ads is there doesn't exist a crisis that
Don't tell this to the clients.
I'm not.
They matter so much. Every client, every detail matters so much.
No, definitely, and I understand the approach from the client side. Some things might feel like an emergency. Some things might feel like a crisis. There really isn't anything that can't be resolved during the next working hours.
Yeah.
Like if you have to dig into, people's family time, people's personal time, it's not so urgent. Like it will be taken care of. I've seen clients explode over genuinely single-digit dollar amounts,
Yeah.
and that's the
What was it, like $5.70?
yeah, that's the cost of like a mistake on an ad, and like something like $5 and some cents of budget towards that ad when it was cropped improperly, and the client treated that like it was doomsday, like the apocalypse. And you have to realize, like, hey, that's the cost of doing business. Mistakes are made sometimes. These platforms have automatic optimizations that us as the advertiser don't necessarily click, and they're made for us, like auto updates. And when you're looking at hundreds of different variables, hundreds of different things that you can switch on and off input, sometimes things are overlooked.
Not at KOVA Team.
Yeah, it's important to diagnose them quickly and make that change. But really, your mental health shouldn't be tied
Yeah.
to the outcome of the work. Put your best foot forward. Be diligent. Do what you know how to do well. Constantly look to improve. And past that, you're not responsible.
I like how somebody said, if you're in your 20s and your friends are talking to you about work-life balance, get new friends.
That's fine, dude.
And I think that's a key because it's like, hey, in your 20s, you need to be grinding. You
Yeah.
need to execute. You need to put in the work. Those are your prime best years. You know what I mean? And so, what is a work-life balance? I like how somebody put it. Hey, the reality is, if you want to be successful in anything and truly be great, there's no such a thing as balance. There's priorities.
Yeah.
There's gonna be, you have to be off balance to actually accomplish something great. And so instead of trying to balance your day or your week, just balance your decade.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I like to approach it. I'm like, hey, balance your decade out, these 3 years of going to hard in business, so that the end of your 20s or the early 30s, you can be present with your kids, you can be present with your family. And so,
Yeah, the way I see it, especially in your early 20s, that's like an axis when your maximum potential, maximum energy
come on.
meets your minimum responsibility. Like many people don't have spouses, don't have families, dependents they need to care for, don't have major expenses like mortgages and stuff like that, yet, they can survive on 2 hours of sleep. And they're strong and they're healthy and they have energy and they have time and they have vision. And I really think you need to capitalize on that. Maybe 70, 80 years old is not the time to be thinking this way. But when you're young, you're fresh, you have energy, and you are able to grind, you're able to hustle, I think then's the time.
So if somebody's like watching right now and they're like 20 years old and they're like, hey, do I quit my job and go after my dream? What would be your perspective and take on that? What does that look like?
It depends on the person. I think make sure your baseline expenses are covered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sacrifice your baseline lifestyle or the people that depend on you around you in the pursuit of business. But I also think there's enough time in the day. We have enough energy and we have enough resources around us where you can start building a business on the side.
So true.
While you're still working. If you really tracked what you're doing during the day and what you're doing after you clock out of your job, you will find a bunch of time wasted.
Oh, yeah.
And you can find ways to be more productive and optimize your schedule so that you can work on a business on the side, and only once it makes sense financially can you pivot full-time to that business.
Because I don't think people realize that 2 hours you waste after your 9-to-5 job added up for 365 days is actually 1 month.
Wow.
If you waste 2 hours a day for a year, you're losing a month of your life.
Crazy.
4 hours, 2 months. 6 hours on Netflix. There's a 25% of your year, 3 months. And so I realized when you take that and you compound that, my goodness, results are exponential. I like how somebody said, what takes others 3 years, I do in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of factual. Imagine if you truly are able to lock in and maximize your full time at 20 years old for 5 years.
And you can Google it too. There are so many success stories of people building beautiful projects, businesses, side hustles on the side while working, And only when those numbers make sense, you can make a decision past that. But it's kind of a lie that all we have time for is our job.
I think numbers, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
And so why do most businesses fail within the first 2 years? I would probably say because of numbers and cash flow. I think often people can get too excited about an idea or product that they don't actually think through the numbers and profitability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're so passionate about an idea or vision, they don't think through the number side. And so I think you have to take the numbers first, because numbers and data doesn't lie. And so with the correct numbers, your business can actually be lasting and sustainable.
What do you think the biggest lie is about being your own boss?
Oh, that you have more time.
Yeah, that's a big one. I
Yeah.
hear that all the time.
Yeah, you think that you have more time. Sure, maybe you're more flexible, but no one else is going to do the work if you don't do it. So on a 9-to-5, you clock in at 9, you clock out at 5, and you're done. You put in your 8-hour day and you're good to go.
I think flexibility is a good word there. I think if you're your own boss, you retain the agency of moving around your own schedule, but the quantity or the volume that you have on your schedule is definitely not less. I find it to be more. But you have more say and more control over that schedule.
Yeah. How do you stay focused when there's 1,000 things to do?
I like to break things into steps and especially order those steps by priority, right? Depending on who you're working with, what projects you're working on.
So do you write them out?
I definitely write them out.
Like a notebook or whiteboard?
Yeah, and when you see them all visually, It's easy to see what needs to be done and what needs to be done first. There are definitely projects you can put on the back burner for when you have more time, but there's, especially in our business, there's time-sensitive tasks that need to be done. And honestly, there's this feeling almost of anxiety when you have a lot piled on your plate.
Yeah.
And I find procrastination or running away from those tasks actually adds to the anxiety.
100%.
And the only thing that solves it is actually getting the work done and start knocking things off that list. So yeah, definitely writing it down, taking it from here and putting it somewhere in front of your eyes definitely helps.
Yeah, I love thought dumping on a whiteboard. Whenever I'm overwhelmed to the extent where I don't know what to do, and on top of that, because you don't know what to do, you feel even more anxious, and it just keeps, it's like a snowball effect.
Yeah.
I'll literally just take an expo marker or like a dry erase marker, and I literally just write out everything. And by the time I got to number 18, now I take a pen and I'll actually highlight based on priority.
Yeah.
Hey, this is by the end of today. This right here is by the end of the week, and then this one we can move to next week.
I would love to show people our whiteboard in our office. Never any blank space. It's always like, oh, can I erase this so I can write this? Like everyone's using it, and it's constantly changing. It's like a living art piece.
Yeah, we need a second whiteboard now. We have like a vision, circles here.
And it's a big whiteboard. Like we're talking wall-size whiteboard.
Yeah, like bigger than that TV.
Yeah. How do you handle people not believing in your vision? Because I know you're a visionary. I know you have a big vision. It's probably easy for people to not share that vision with you. So how do you manage that?
I think first and foremost, you need to believe in your vision more than anybody else. I think you need to have no doubt. People feel the no doubt. If there's a tiny bit of doubt, people feel that, and it rubs off in the way that you communicate it and in the way that you express it. And so when you truly believe it 1,000%, people feel like, hey, here's an invitation. He's going there either way if I come or not. Like that's the direction. That's where we're headed. He's so convinced of it. He's going there, and I have an opportunity to join. And if it doesn't align, that's okay. You probably don't want that person part of it anyways. But if people feel it like, hey, no doubt, that's where we're headed. I have an opportunity to be a part of this. That's where they join that. And I think also there's a responsibility to continually cast that vision.
Yeah.
Anytime I feel like there's a lack of quote unquote motivation, I think often people try to motivate people with due dates or tasks. I love showing the picture or the big picture and like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And now people see the purpose of the task in the big picture. So now they're no longer just seeing, oh, I have to do these 300 pages. They're seeing these 300 pages are directly connected with my dream and my future.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Do you find value in sharing your vision? And are there negatives to sharing that vision with just anyone?
I think you have to. There was a moment in my life where I would share everything because I saw the more that I share, the more that it happens. The more that you share your vision, the more your brain processes it, and you actually begin to think of how to practically execute on it. And so I begin to realize the more that I share it, the more that it happens. I think there is a point where you do need to be sensitive and careful how much you share. But if you have a team of people, you have to continually share that vision because it's always painting where you're headed. But there has to be a balance between vision and execution. I think if you get overly, if you spend too much time sharing the vision and not actually writing out the practical steps of how to execute it, it becomes a mere fantasy. And a hope deferred makes the heart sick.
Yeah.
That's what the Bible says. And so when hope deferred makes the heart sick, people are going to be like, oh, you're just delusional. And so I think it's always a balance of vision and execution. But when you get too much in the admin and execution, you need to come back to the vision because it will give purpose to the execution. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think it's always a balance between, hey, here's the big picture of where we're going, but hey, here's the next step. And so there's always a balance to it.
How do you stay grounded while chasing big goals?
Having non-negotiables in place, and I like to do them in a specific time of day.
When do you like to do them?
I specifically because your day can shift so much and often random stuff will be thrown at you at 3 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., I found it best to take care of my non-negotiables first thing in the morning. If my non-negotiables is hit the gym, is to read the Bible, it's to meditate, spend time in the presence of God. I love taking care of them first thing in the morning because you never know what the day can bring.
Yeah.
And if I got them out of the way and that's what keeps me grounded, I know that it doesn't matter what happens that day. I'm doing the things that you know what I mean? Those are the things that keep me grounded, and I stay grounded even though a bunch of things come my way.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that there are days where I'm like, man, if I had 24 hours more in this day that I could actually execute. I remember like there's like 9 p.m. I'm like, dude, if I had even 12 more hours right now, I still wouldn't have enough time to execute on this to-do list.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to put your priorities, your non-negotiables, and I love doing them first thing in the morning. Can mindset really change your bank account?
Oh, that's a good one. I think 1,000% it can, on one condition. That mindset motivates actions.
So good.
I think mindset without actions, nothing comes to reality. And I
Yes.
think a lot of that can be vain imagination even. I think when you inject that mindset into doing the work, into action, I think that's when you can see some pretty significant results in the bank account.
Yeah, like your mindset won't change the numbers in your bank account if you won't take that mindset and have you do something physically
Yes.
with it. And so mindset is a game changer. But if all you do is mindset, thinking, self-development, but you never act on it, it's just a mere fantasy. So mindset is key. But you got to execute. You got to sow. You sow what you reap. You sow with your physical, not with your internal.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of the actions we do, a lot of the sowing we do, our mindset is injected into it. If it's a negative mindset, you're going to reap negative fruit, you know?
Yeah.
If it's a positive mindset, you're reaping positive fruit. So it's important to stay at least grounded in your mindset and make sure what you're dwelling on up here, when it does eventually leak into what you're doing here, make sure that it's in the direction you want to be headed.
Yeah, because mindset will give you perspective on how to sow correctly or how to cultivate that seed or that input of what your action is. But up until you put that seed in the ground, nothing will happen.
Yeah. What's one mental shift that changed your business forever?
Solving problems. At the end of the day, business is this one thing. I like how somebody said, hey, why did everyone flock to Jesus in the Bible? Everyone was always around him. Because he fed people, he healed people, and he delivered people.
Yeah.
And so because of that, he always solved their problems. Same thing in business. Hey, what I'm doing is it solving this person's problem. And I realized the more that I held my attention on that, the more business would evolve because it would focus on helping the person. And when the person feels helped, they don't feel like you're using, abusing, and just trying to get money out of them.
And it's even better on our side. If we're adding value to people, if we're solving a need, we have a healthy conscience while we're doing business.
And if you are not, you realize you're not doing it good enough. So now you focus on how to solve the problem better. And the more that you solve the problem better, the more conviction you have when you sell.
Yes.
And so it's easier to sell because you're not trying to sell because you're like, hey, this is what we can do. And you know that you can do it. And then it's connected with your reputation. It's connected with conviction and sales. And it's all interconnected with the growth of your business. So if you just focus on people's needs and solving it, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Why do so many people feel like they're behind in life?
I think social media plays a huge role in this.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's easy to see a bunch of people your age doing awesome things. And then we all know social media, people are only posting the best of their lives. I think one trick to not feel that way, instead of comparing yourself to other people, I think you should compare yourself to yourself.
So good.
And think, hey, did I improve on who I was yesterday? Did I take care of this? Small incremental steps. Am I improving? Am I progressing? I think that's a healthier and a more sustainable way of looking at things because people have different gifts, different talents. They're working on different things, different tolerances, even different circumstances, environments they grew up in, people around them. I think it's unfair to judge yourself compared to someone else, but it's healthy and long-term if you look at yourself retrospectively
Yeah.
and say, hey, I did this, I accomplished this, small win here, small success here.
Do you know why I think people feel behind in life and frustrated with themselves? Because deep down, they feel that there's this God given purpose that they have, and they actually never took an action towards it.
Wow.
And so they actually feel frustrated with themselves that they're not acting on it. And so some people, they snowball in that loop. Others, they break out by starting taking action.
Yeah.
So when others are doing their purpose, this person is no longer comparing because they're so focused on the purpose and truly what they want to bring and how they want to bless this generation or bless people, right?
Yeah.
If you're a business owner, right? You're focused on how can I build this business. That is part of your purpose or where you're headed. And so I think when people take action to build that business, they feel true satisfaction on the inside because they're living a purpose life.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people feel behind in life because they never take action in their purpose.
That's powerful. What's something you're unlearning in 2025?
Doing everything by myself. I think often if you're a perfectionist, you would rather do something than delegate to somebody else. But I've learned to lay down it being perfect so that I can actually delegate and be more productive. And so I love what somebody said. If somebody can do it 70% as good as you, delegate it. And so I've been unlearning to do it all by myself, and I've been to see how much more growth actually takes place and happens because you can actually do the things that nobody else can. Do you really need to be on every social media platform?
I think so. I think technology has evolved to a point where it's very easy to mass post to several media channels at once. I think you're not losing anything by posting more and on more platforms. So definitely there are tools you can use to post the same piece of content across many channels at once. If you're not utilizing this, I think you're behind.
Yeah. What's better, organic growth or paid ads?
I think it depends on the business and what stage of the business they're at. Honestly, for most businesses, during most life cycles and seasons of the business, profit matters the most.
Yes.
And there are tons of profit in organic growth, and there's tons of profit in paid ads. Again, it depends on what fits the business's needs at that time.
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. I think organic content is always more of a it's always more of a long-term approach. Paid ads, it's more now. I think you have to have a balance of both, and depending on where you're at and what your marketing budget is.
Do likes and views really matter for your business?
Yes and no. Content that gets more reach, more likes, and more views often can have less sales and bring you less income into your business. When more tailored niche content reaches less people, but those people are more likely to convert. And so just because you got a reel with 1 million views and it went viral, it doesn't directly correlate and translate into sales and income. When there's a reel that had 500 people see it, but it was 500 people that are really interested in actually purchasing that product or that service that you have to offer, that can actually bring more income. And so I think you need a mix of both. I think the viral content, 1 million views, is what can kind of grow, be the top level of the funnel. And then now the more content that is more tailored to your niche or what you offer is the things that actually will provide more income. And so it comes back to, hey, income. You could be focusing on viral reels, but that's not helping your business. Your business is not being profitable.
Can a business still grow without going viral?
100%. And here's why. Just because someone went viral doesn't mean that turned into customers and income. And so if your videos and your content is very focused on the correct audience that is ready to purchase, that will actually provide income. And at the end of the day, business is about what did you spend and what was your income? That's it. And if your income is more than your spending, well, guess what? You're a successful business. If it's the opposite, you're just another statistic. How is AI changing the way we market and grow businesses?
AI is changing the business landscape rapidly. Platforms are adopting AI, advertisers are adopting AI, and businesses are adopting AI. I think because of all that, there's a higher demand on true creativity, human creativity.
Yes.
It's easy to recycle and copy what people have done in the past, and AI does this very well. And AI is able to leverage quantity and volume and recycle that, but new, fresh ideas, fresh angles, fresh ways to bring your product or service to the market that still is very much done up here as a human. And there's a higher demand for that. And I'm noticing better results that way as well. Is email marketing really dead?
No, not at all. And here's why. If you're doing it the way that everyone always did it, just because you have 100,000 people on your email marketing list does not mean that you'll actually have some kind of income and that it will work. But if your email list is actually consists of people that intentionally signed up because they like the value that you provide on your emails, they'll actually look for your emails and they'll actually read your emails. So if it's people that intentionally signed up, it's not cold emails, it's a game changer. What if TikTok is gone tomorrow? Almost happened. What if Instagram is gone tomorrow? Imagine if you have a list of 10,000 people that are specifically interested in what you offer and they actually signed up intentionally. It's a game changer. What's one mindset that kills growth?
I think a big thing here is fear. I think people are scared in all aspects of their life, not just business, but business specifically. People's livelihoods come from business. It takes a lot of cash to keep a business alive, and it takes a lot of cash to grow businesses. And that cash you put into the business is coming out of someone's pockets. It's coming off of some table for people that need to be fed. So I think specifically the fear of investing money, the fear of investing time, the fear of rejection, hopping on a sales call and someone rejecting you for your offer. I think fear really kills growth. And if you learn to switch that off, if you learn to say, hey, I'm confident in what I'm doing, I'm doing my best, I'm trying my best, growth.
Yeah,
growth
because even with
happens.
this podcast right now, we're investing in the video.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you're watching. We're investing in this video. We're recording. The lights that were set up by the most amazing two gurus, and
Shout out.
Max Roby and Alexei Kazanachev. Paragon Films.
Hit them
Boom.
up.
Just cut that in there. But yeah, fear, investing, all of that. So good.
What's the difference between a 7-figure entrepreneur and an 8-figure entrepreneur?
I'll let you know when I get there.
Please let me know.
Follow along, and I'll let you know when we get there. Follow KOVA Team. Do you think you need to have it all figured out before you start?
Honestly, in the beginning, I think no one knows what they're doing.
Facts.
I think over time, you learn what you need to learn.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you need to know. So it's a matter of getting connected with the right people, building an offer, and not necessarily knowing how to deliver, but that pressure of having to deliver in a time frame, especially with the resources you gain from selling that offer, I think that combination really pushes you to learn at a rate that you wouldn't learn otherwise. And you figure out things as you go.
Yeah, and confidence comes from the tangible results that you've delivered on. Not your hopes, not your dreams, but the things that you've actually seen executed on. And you actually have confidence from that.
After all this, what advice would you give to people similar in age to us who really have the desire to start a business and have no idea where to start and feel lost?
Find that one thing within your dream or your idea that actually solves a problem. Then, here's the big part that you need to know. Continue working a job that you get paid the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. All of your other time now use to spend time building that dream or that business or that idea. And you can even, if no one's willing to pay for it, do it for free. Gain so much clientele for free. It'll be word of mouth, referrals, affiliates. Before you know it, you'll have people coming and you can't take them on as a client. Now start charging, and then people that don't want to pay, let them go. Boom, you have a business. And now you have something that you're doing that's covering your baseline of your reality, and you have a dream that you're building. And before you know it, people will pay for, your dream will begin to now pay for your reality, and then you'll be able to let go of that job. You know what's even better on top of all of that? If you can actually get a job, on the way to your dream. If someone would ask me right now, hey, I want to be a YouTuber, where do I start? I would not tell them to start a YouTube channel. I would tell them, go find a YouTuber that you want to be like and sit under them for 2 years.
Yeah.
Say, hey, can I get a job? I'll charge you less and I'll do more. You'll learn so much more by just doing and being there, and that's on the way to your dream.
The money comes and goes. As soon as it hits the bank account, you've got plenty of things you can spend it on. However, the skills you learn, those stay with you forever.
100%. And there's many things that are more caught than taught.
Wow.
And so people try to learn and do all the e-courses. Bro, just go find that YouTuber. Find that businessman and be like, I will help you with whatever you need. You'll learn so much by just being around him in the sales meetings, in the marketing meetings, in the execution part of it. And sure, maybe you're making no money for a period of time or maybe barely, but what you're really doing is you're trading that money for so much valuable knowledge that will propel you years, decades in advance. There's people that are 60 that don't know that.
And if any of you are scared or nervous to approach people like this, just remember, as long as you're offering value, people will take you in. Whether paid, whether not paid. If someone were to approach us and say, hey, let's take this off your plate, and you don't have to pay me for the first couple of months or whatever, we definitely would take them up on that.
100%. The best question to ask someone that you want to be your mentor or someone that you want to grow and learn from, hey, how can I help you?
Yeah.
How can I make your life easier? What can I do right now that will make your life super, super easy? They'll give you that task. They will love you. Because the first thing they're going to give you is the thing that's burdening them. And that's the entry point. And when you do that, before you know it, you learn so much, and now you can actually go and execute on your dream.
That's awesome.
So first and foremost, have something that's paying for your reality. And make sure it pays the most amount per hour that you spend, even if you don't enjoy it. So that you can maximize your free time to invest in your dream. But it's even better if that job that you have is on the way to your dream.
Well said.
Follow KOVA Team for more.